everyone, and welcome to another Sunday shout out episode. And we've got a familiar face in the room today. Fabian Wollner, who is a co-writer and co-producer of my Funkalicious album. And we have co-owner and owners together of Sheep Hill Records. This is Ahmed. Hey. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
So far, good. So far, so good.
You're in Sheep Hill Studios.
Yes, we thought it might look good, like it might fit the talks, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Somehow.
You look fabulous together.
Thank you. That must be all the Photoshop.
It's just a light.
Sure, it's the light.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was so awesome, Ahmed, to have you come and join because people haven't met you yet. So you're co-owner.
Thanks a lot for the invitation, Helena.
Of course, this is wonderful and really exciting to be working with you both with the releases of the singles and also the album as well. And you guys have got a few other artists as well on the label, don't you?
But yeah, well, a few is very generous. Thank you a lot. So pretty much 3 at the moment. So let's say 2 like solo artists and 1 like group, I guess. But yeah, it's been a interesting ride, I guess, over the last year. About.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. Maybe thought a couple of times if it was a good idea doing that, but sure, that always is part of it. A lot of new challenges and yeah, new things bring new challenges. That's the way it is, I guess.
Definitely. And being in the first year as well, it's starting things up, getting momentum going, releasing new things, doing it in a label manner. I know that you've released a lot of stuff prior to having Sheep Hill Records, Fabian. So it's a fun adventure as well, and for you guys to do it together, because literally neighbors in Vienna and yeah, co-owners now.
Well, to be honest, like the biggest difference is I did release a couple of things, but there was never really like a goal behind it, or like it was never meant for big audience or like to actually grow something. And so the biggest difference is probably that there's a little bit more pressure involved, that you want to get it out and want to actually have people hear it and become like, I don't know, like involved in the whole thing and really looking forward to the next thing. And that's definitely a new thing, because as you know very well, I love making music, but I never really cared too much about, like, I don't know, let's call it fame or let's call it whatever. But
I would call it business.
Maybe that's a good point. But now, like, the things change. Still, like, the artistic side is, in my opinion, the most important, but still there's like a new side to the whole thing, to actually get it out and have people hear it.
Yeah, the formal side. Like, Ahmed, do you remember like the first conversation that you had with Fabian about making the label?
Yes, actually I do. And at the beginning it was talking about projects, and it was very unsure. And at some point I remember Fabian was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but I was really motivated. I felt the energy. I knew I will have the chance to work with great artists like you. And this was like, okay, we have to try that, because this for sure an adventure. And of course the first steps were quite hard. Yeah, we
still are.
Yeah. We're not just a new business, we're also facing Corona and other difficulties, but still there's so much fun involved and so much passion, and I think love for music, and that makes the job really great. And yeah, it's not just business, it's somehow it's more, definitely.
Because you have been with us like right from the start of creating the Funkalicious album, and we've shown you many a demo and many a kind of starting point, and you've been there, you've seen the process, you've seen where it's come from start to finish.
Yeah, Ahmed is like always there. It's like little ghost.
Yeah, definitely. I was somehow next to Fabian or next to you. The whole process, I had an insight, and this was, of course, also motivation. I knew you two are rocking, and yeah, that made the decision to found a business quite easy for me, because I knew, yeah, those guys are professionals, and the music they're doing is special, and it deserves to be heard. So my motivation was to support you as good as I can. That this music is yeah, is becoming famous. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
As,
becoming known. It's great.
as you can see immediately, he's like a little better. He's like the more serious guy.
Yeah,
outside.
definitely. I'm the serious guy.
And yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have a new single out at the moment. I say we because, of course, you and I have made it. It has my name on it, but it's ours, Fabian, and it's called Sometimes.
Yes.
And I have been saying quite a lot publicly, I think this is my favorite one. I feel like it's super special. How do you feel about it?
Well, first of all, I have to say it's pretty good, because from what I've noticed from every single, like from the start, you always said this one is my favorite. So that's, I guess, is kind of a good thing, because when you do enjoy yourself, at least enjoy the music, which I guess is the first step to like getting it out there. Because if you don't like your own singles, then that's, I guess, a bad starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, like from what people heard, where we really like, I did the mixing for Diamond and Funkalicious as well, but like I pretty much did the mixing. I added some stuffs here and there, but the production mainly went to Johnny
For those
and
first two.
yes, and Struggle, and Sometimes were the first like tracks that people heard now that we actually mainly worked on them. Quite different from I guess how we tackled those songs. It's hard to say which I prefer more. I don't know. I think I do enjoy them quite a bit. Like it's a little bit of a different like approach. Like Sometimes was a little bit simpler and a little bit more straightforward, and like we got the vibe we're looking for and went for it. And it's Struggle is a little bit more, let's say, layered, and the production process was so much longer than Sometimes. If I remember correctly, Sometimes came along quite quickly.
Yeah.
You had the vocal idea, the lyric idea with the Sometimes as a thing happening throughout the whole song, and we found like a groove and all this stuff. But I wouldn't say one is better than the other. It's just like very different. I remember like when the first time Sometimes like started to become a song, like the first thing you said, like you can imagine that song like driving in summer and like in the car and like having it really loud. And I think that's a good valid point. I think that the song does make sense. That kind of like a feel good, like
Yeah, for being released.
upbeat, like cool track.
Yeah, it's upbeat, but it has a lot of hidden layers underneath it lyrically as well, because I wrote that right in the midst of the first lockdown. And it was kind of in that sort of limbo of what are we doing right now? You know, in our lives, we can't gig right now. We can't go out. We have to isolate. Everyone has to be in. And I remember writing those lyrics in Vienna in the kitchen. I was just like in the kitchen cooking, and it just came to me. It came very naturally, and like you say, it happened very quickly with the writing process. But I think music is such a great therapy in that sort of sense of, you know, if you're in a tough place, you can either put on your favorite songs that make you feel better, or I found like writing them was such a great solution in that sort of scenario. So then, yeah, when I gave you those ideas, it happened very quickly because we were spending so much time in the studio during that time as well, writing it. So we used our time wisely.
Yeah, but I guess that's a lot of musicians have that, like say the same thing, like lockdown, how bad it is, and like how much it sucks pretty much. You suddenly have time, a lot of time to be creative and write music and all this stuff. So that's, I guess, is the good side of things, especially if you're working in like a creative business. If you don't, then it's a very different story. But for creative people, it was suddenly, okay, you can't do anything else anyways. So why don't work on music and new stuff, and so that suddenly you have a lot of time on your hands to really work. And with your album, it actually kind of like, it kind of fell like exactly into that. And I think we actually made probably the same amount of songs in like, well, maybe not the same amount, but I guess like 4 songs or something like that, 4 or 5 songs in about the 3 months or 2 months.
Yeah,
or
it
something like
was.
that.
It was quite quick
Because there's just more
process.
time suddenly for everything. So yeah,
Yes.
we made use of the time, I guess, which is good.
Yeah, it was between March and July because we're going to finish. We finished it towards the end of July, and then it was starting to be mastered in August. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you like tell us a little bit who else you've got on the Sheep Hill Records?
And maybe we'll start with our last album we brought out. It is Trio SMS, Balkan classic folklore.
It's very different. So our lineup is very diverse musically. So Trio SMS is like 3 young guys.
Very young guys,
with
talented.
Mainly classical background, I would say. They do all sorts of stuff, but like I guess they're like in the midst of finishing like the proper education, like, and like future great musicians, no doubt about that.
For sure.
And they started doing a really cool little like crossover, like jazz, classical, like with a lot of Eastern Europe influences, since one of the guys is original from Bulgaria. So they brought in those really cool like rhythms and melodies, which are especially like to my ear, I love those kind of melodies. Yeah, and they made this super cool project. I recorded like, I don't know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, like a little like demo with them. And yeah, I guess it was time to record it. So they came to the studio anyways to record it. And we were in the midst of starting the label. So without perfect opportunity, they loved the ideas, and so we went ahead and they recorded and we brought it out.
I think like looking back, this was quite a huge support to have the studio like included in the label, because it was like and very effective way of working. Fabian, you were like in charge for the studio, and everything happened here. And like for me as a label, or as someone is responsible for selling the albums, it was quite interesting to be involved in the process itself. So I got the chance to know the product at the end quite good. So I knew what we later on wanted to sell, and this was, I think, quite a huge benefit.
I think it's always good to actually know what you're trying to get out.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, because the thing is, the cool thing,
different.
The cool thing about the studio and the label is like there's some maybe like you get a call and like some part they're not happy with or something, and then you need to get in contact back with the studio, the mixing engineer, blah blah blah. And it's so much quicker because we can go straight, okay, let's do it immediately and get it out again, or whatever it may be. Just like the times get shortened quite a bit in production mainly.
Yeah.
The bad thing is, again, like we have to do everything ourselves pretty much. so more work for us, but yeah, sure, why not?
But it's so good. It's so good to have an in-house studio for sure, totally, because the studio you're sitting in right now, it's such a vibe. It's so lovely. It's got such a history already. For how long has it been open now? Like
that
3 years? 3 years?
Yes, I think it was end of 2018.
18.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
So the studio, I've been working here in the rooms a little longer, but we started building beginning of 2018, I think. So like the whole recording room and everything we built from the ground up. So yeah, I guess we're coming to 3 years like officially opened. Yeah,
we should celebrate.
Hey, 3-year birthday. Yeah, I remember visiting it it was a New Year's Eve in the day. Mum and Dad were with me, and it was great to come and have a look at it because it was brand new, like just opening.
A lot of pressure, that I remember. Yes.
It's already had so much great history with the live concerts that you put on as well. It's so awesome to have experienced that, and I really hope that That's if you want to, I know it's a lot of work, but to potentially have that again would be amazing for sure.
If something comes along that's really like, okay, this is super cool, we have to take the opportunity, then let's do it. But it won't be a regular thing, like let's say every 2 months.
Yeah, you had one with Giselle as well, Giselle Jackson, and
yeah,
I got to do one, which was amazing.
That wasn't planned, to be honest. Like I talked to her and invited her and said, yeah, she's coming, but she's not sure about singing. Like, okay, whatever. And then we usually did like 2 sets. There was still with the first 3 sessions was with like people actually listening in the studio. We like put out a PA system and after the first set, she says, why am I not singing? So I don't know, like sure, and just put a quick setup. And then
really?
And it was quite stressful because like I had to like reroute everything, and it was quite at the beginning of the studio, so I had a little bit of problems with the amount of channels available, so I had to like kind of like try to make it work, but it happened.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was super cool.
I can remember that a lot of our friends, like the feedback was that they had the possibility to really experience music, like to feel it. It's like to be in it, and that made it special.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I'm looking forward to do more of that.
Yeah, there's some talks about what we could do with our third artist. We haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, please tell us.
Last but not least.
But we will not say anything like special because there's nothing actually planned. But we talked about a couple of ideas what we could do. Maybe do a Sheep Hill session, a new one with maybe, if possible, some special guests.
And the third name is Pete Simpson.
Woo!
Which most of the people already know because you had a talk with him. So
yeah, we did. We had a few episodes ago, me and Pete had a chat and it was great. I love it.
Yes, Pete
he's awesome.
Yeah,
we love him.
He's actually not too bad of a singer as well.
He's so good.
Yeah, no, I love working with him. He's amazing. Like whatever he does, it's just, it always works. And I love it because he always comes, I have to re-record it. It wasn't good enough. And I just sit and say, I'm not sure what you mean, but sure, let's record it again or don't. And no, he's like, that's different level. Like I have to be honest with the whole label and also with the studio, especially for a new studio. I've been really, really, really lucky with the people I was able to work with. I think that's for a small independent studio, like without any like actual backings, like the people I was able to work with is just, I cannot complain in any sense. Like this has brought me a new sense of music and like just the talent of a couple of the people who were in here, where makes the working life a lot more fun.
Yeah, because they're so good.
And it feels like family, honestly.
Yeah, that's the next thing. They're super talented and great, and all of them are amazing people. So it's just fun having them around you. So that's also a big plus.
It's so nice because I've been talking with the people that have been at Sheep Hill Studios and they say exactly the same thing about it. Is that it's so friendly. Everyone feels like a family. There's a vibe about it. And everyone's just so excited to spend time and to work with you, Fabian, as well. So they love it. So it's good.
It's been a crazy ride, the whole thing, I have to say. For me, maybe the last 3 years, although you've been always like, Ahmed and I, we know each other since school. I knew always when I needed someone to help me out, like Ahmed was always a guy I could call, and he usually, if he wasn't too busy with something else, he like, okay, sure, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I had no choice.
Yeah.
I'm forced to be here too, by the way, today.
Well, thank you for being here. Help. Tell us a bit more about Pete. Like, I know I've spoken with Pete, but how would you describe Pete? Like, what's his vibe? Like, what are you making?
Pete can pretty much sing anything you want him to sing, but I think like I've tried to get some original stuff out of him for a long time now.
Yes.
And which wasn't always that easy because like he does a lot of things all the time. Like he does a lot of like, especially lately, like a lot of drum and bass like features and stuff like this. But like he's very particular in what he wants, like very like soul and groove and like a little bit of the mix of the little bit more old school kind of stuff and a little bit more of the new school kind of stuff. Like, I guess, I don't want to say any artist now because I don't want to put like, I don't want to speak
a label
for him.
on it. Yeah.
But very, very, like very soulful, great, what?
No advertising.
For other artists. Yeah. Let's call it that.
Push him away now.
No, but like I think he's getting to a point now. We do a couple of different. So like at some point, like he wants to do an album of originals. But before that, we're gonna do a little bit of something a little different.
Nice.
Something people will recognize, but will have very different, or with a twist, I guess, some sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
And
Sounds so good.
Yeah, it feels to me like that he's getting a little bit more comfortable and like pushing his stuff. And I try my best, or we try our best to support him as good as we can.
Definitely, and encourage, isn't it? Because I remember speaking with him in our episode, and it is that very much like he feels super comfortable being in a background singing environment, and now is his time to shine.
You know, the same thing. Like it's like if you get to a certain level of skill, like if actually probably it doesn't matter if it's like creative or music or something else. If you reach a certain skill, like of course the way you hear the stuff and the more particularly get at stuff and stuff has to be really, really, really good to actually like say, okay, this is good enough to put out.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if your goal is not necessarily to sell X amount of copies, but like to like be happy with like creatively and musically with the end result, which is I think a little bit higher standard than if it's just about selling stuff. Yeah?
Definitely self-expression, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think this is just like you know perfectly well. You put, especially as a singer, you put yourself out there. Like if it's like in the worst case, like people come back and say, "This is just horrible. Like what are you doing?" Like, and well, still it has your name on it, so you have to be really at least really comfortable yourself with your music that you can say, "Okay, whatever, that might be your opinion, but I still stand behind what I do." And yeah, and I think Pete's stuff and especially him as a person and as a musician, as a singer, also as a songwriter, and all of this stuff is definitely there, and he needs to trust in himself to put it out. And I think we're getting there. I think he's really opening up now, and I think there's gonna be some really cool music coming out.
Definitely, like Pete is for me three words: quality, talent, passion. And I can't wait seeing him like finishing the album and us releasing it, because this will be amazing, and no doubt about that. This guy deserves the stage, and we're looking forward.
Have you got 3 words for me?
I think about your music, I would say authentic, because it is so much you. I know you now quite a while, and like all the songs, they are part of you. They are quite a perspective of your life, of your story, of your feelings, emotions, and that's something I always can feel when hearing your songs.
Thank you.
Authentic. I have 1 word.
Yes.
Okay, 2 more words. Easy to work with, amazing talent.
But we had talent.
Thank you. They were
Helena?
like long, nice.
Okay, then just great skill.
Great skill.
Oh, thank you.
Very professional. We could ask you now 3 words for us, but we won't do
3
all
words
you
for
want.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I want to hear that. It might be bad. Oh,
No.
2 words about Fabian and Ahmed, and okay.
I would say
sounds about right.
I'd say awesome, supportive, silly. I wanted to say pro. You are pro, but you're also like just fun. You're just fun to be around. I like that. So moving forward with the label and what we're doing with my stuff, I'm going to enjoy it sometimes for now, but there is something that's going to be coming up soon. It's top secret.
Yes, there's something coming out, and then there's something bigger coming out, which at some point I think we can say the album will come out at some point.
Yes.
Actually, sooner than later, probably. So I guess this is the big thing. But yeah, I think we're going to have to start the preparations now, getting all the artwork done, vinyl and CDs. So like, yeah, to finally put the whole thing out and like maybe even do some live stuff finally.
Yes. That's what has been in conversation. A couple of episodes, been chatting with the guys, and they're all just really eager to get back on stage. And I would love to do the album live for sure, definitely. So I'm planning to come back to Vienna very soon, in a few weeks' time, and then yes, we're going to be full steam ahead. Still lots of planning, exciting things happening behind the scenes. But yeah, when I get to Vienna, it's going to feel like, right, come on, like we're here now, we're together again. We can work on it and sort out a live show. That would be amazing. Well, we're still sorting the vinyl and the CD, but it's going to be really awesome to actually have it physically. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so the plan is definitely to have them ready for the first actual gig, because people actually heard the music, and if they enjoy, they probably buy a CD or vinyl.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, and it's just cool. It's like, it feels like we reached a new step in the whole thing, or maybe even like kind of like left the production side of things behind us finally, which of course is always along, and then move forward to like either maybe starting new material or like building on the live stuff and just getting the production side finally like completely behind us.
I think from the label side, it's like this is the moment we were waiting for. It's like the starting point, and I'm really excited and motivated, and can't wait to see this album in my hand. And so yeah, it's like, I think, a change of perspective. And
yeah, I can't wait to actually, like I said, okay, we done it. It's finished. Here you go.
It's actually here.
Yeah.
And I would just boop 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 boop.
Boop, boop, boop. All right. That's
so good.
That's the international sign for selling.
Of course it is.
Yeah, completely. To have a physical copy is going to really feel like an extra chapter, like the new milestone that we're getting to. So I am really, really excited about that. And I want to get like one framed.
I think this will be possible that you get a copy as well.
Here we go. Maybe it goes here. This is the space.
You might have to buy it from us, but we will get a copy.
But don't worry, we have quite good prices.
I buy my own record.
You get a discount, you have to pay double.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a deal, guys.
Amazing. Yeah.
And we're going to be having the Helena May t-shirt merchandise as well. So I've been releasing a few extra colors alongside the colors of the singles. So the normal designs, the standard designs that are out there, you can get them in lots of different colors now as well. So I'm looking forward to having the collection available at gigs as well. That's going to be really great.
Definitely.
So there's memorabilia as well. You know, people feel like they want to take something home with them, like they've experienced something live, but then to also take something home. I always love that. That's why I have like vinyl collections and CDs and things.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like how I remembered from my youth, I guess. Teenage years, like gigs, you always came home with a t-shirt at least.
And your t-shirts really look great. Like I love them. You're really putting thoughts and energy in it, as like every t-shirt itself is quite unique and connected to the song itself and to your work. This makes it very, very special. I'm a huge fan of them.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was so awesome to speak with you guys, and I'm really excited to see where the future goes with Sheep Hill Records, the artists that you've got involved. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. I'm still very surprised you asked me to be on for a second time after the first time, but it's your fault.
Everyone. Well, we speak about you a lot in all the different episodes, and it's so good to be able to talk about the label, to talk about how we've made sometimes as well. And yeah, of course, you're coming on for a second appearance.
And now the best jokes from Sheep Hill label and studios.
We'll do that in the next episode.
Yeah. Best 10 best Austrian jokes. Oof.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, those who have tuned in. And see you guys soon.
Especially you.
Yeah. And you. It was very nice.
I'll see you guys in Vienna very soon.
Yes.
Let's hope.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.